right, we'll do the intro now because we've been already chatting. We have so much to share and we're so excited about this. Guys, welcome back to the Strong New York podcast. I'm your host, Kenny Santucci. And as always, we're living fit, so grab yourself a Celsius and live fit. And we're here to get strong. And I have two people here who I'm very excited to talk about, the team from Biohack Yourself. I want you guys just to give me a quick intro as to who you are and how you guys wound up making this incredible. You know, I think there's a lost art here.
Yes.
Right? The idea of like picking up a magazine. Every time I'm in the airport, I love grabbing a magazine and just flipping through. You don't have it anymore, but I love the finish on this. It's very well done.
Thank you.
You know, nothing cheap about this. So.
Thank you. It's tech-free wellness. I mean, our background, 7 years ago, I used to be 315 pounds. I was morbidly obese. And so we decided to do something about it in the right way, get into fitness. We actually did a documentary called From Fat Lolli to Six Pack Lolli, the ultimate transformation story.
You guys are New Yorkers.
New Yorkers. Well, she's from Armenia, but we're New Floridians as of 2 years ago, but New Yorkers, born and raised in New York.
Yeah, and you guys spent most of your adult life in New York.
Yes, most of our adult life in New York.
So that's what
City.
I always tell people. I'm like, I always love to get New Yorkers on, whether they move somewhere, you know, they're here now.
New York blood is still there.
Still there. We own real estate in New York. We love New York. And the journey started where I was 315 pounds. My wife was on my back. I had exited a company, had so much success, didn't have my health. We have two beautiful children I needed to live for. TereZa was Maha before that word was invented, before the word came out. It was make Anthony healthy again. And so we tried everything to lose weight. I did the gastric sleeve, lost 50 pounds, gained 70, then got sleep apnea, lost, my BMI was off the charts. Finally, we said, I need a coach. That's why what you're doing with this gym and your concept works. I'm living proof of that. I hired a coach, followed the plan. I actually flew him down from Ireland to live with me. We did a whole documentary. The documentary went viral. During COVID, we released the documentary. That's very cool. Men from all over the world were like, me too, me too. I'm going to do the same thing. We inspired so many people. And that put us into the journey of like fitness, bodybuilding, competing. We did a docuseries about her transformation. So our roles were reversed. Now it was like Beauty and the Beast, but then I was the beauty and she was the one with a diastasis recti. Our diastasis recti. She had a mom bod.
Well, I was actually always an athlete. Like I grew up, I was a ping pong champion, a competitive swimmer, a competitive Latin ballroom dancer. But I never had the physique that I got to when I was bodybuilding. So after my second child, I really started feeling weak, frail, back pain. All of that was happening. I discovered I had the diastasis recti, which is the separation of the abs. And so every time, it was like, he was almost a year and a half. And every time I would eat breakfast, I would look like I'm pregnant again. I was like, I'm not bouncing back. It's just not happening. I look sluggish. I feel sluggish. So he said, why don't I train you? Like, look at my transformation. I now understand muscle. I understand bodybuilding. Let me train you. So he trained me. We were now doing it together, meal prepping, training together. It not only brought us together as a couple, stronger than ever, but it worked. I was able to close my diastasis, get a six-pack, got to 2-time Bikini Pro status. We competed in 6 different federations, filmed the docuseries, brought our audience from the transformation world into the competition world and gained more audience, really, that were fans of our work. We were allowing to see the behind the scenes, what's going on in the fitness world. Is it just those muscly guys with steroids, or is there more to it?
It was a different angle too. It's like how to stay fit as a couple, keep a lifestyle, keep a family, run a business. It was a different, unique perspective of, couples fitness and just relationships. And so we're very transparent, even with the documentaries, we showed the loose skin surgery that I had to go to after I lost weight, the recovery, the suffering that she went through.
Butt wiping.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. And then it really put us in the trajectory of making amazing documentaries that are relatable. So
we focused on health and wellness.
Right.
Currently, we have 13 documentaries streaming globally on all the major platforms, and we have won 59 Best Documentary Awards.
Yeah, we did a bodybuilding one with called The Guru with George Farah, Kai Green.
Dexter Jackson, like everybody, Jim Manion, Taylor Manion.
So you guys, what were you guys doing before this? Like, did you have any background in media or?
We had a lot of backgrounds in a lot of things. Like I was an accountant with an accountant degree, but I was also an actor with movies on Netflix with Corey Feldman. I was a recording artist, and he was in real estate, but he was also a producer, which is basically the fancy way of people who put up the money for certain films, because he always wanted to be around that. His house was being used for commercial use, like commercials and music videos. So we always had a knack for entertainment. When we got together, I actually kind of stopped my own career. So I engaged my 2 kids from the moment they were born, started managing their careers. So we were still in that industry. Our kids went on to book about 100 jobs together. They made so much money booking national commercials and TV and Broadway that they ended up buying real estate, and were awarded as the youngest real estate investors.
So
And
in
just
real
6 and
estate,
8. Yeah.
we had a real estate brokerage company. It was the largest rental company in New York. Then we turned it national, went from 1 location to 100 locations nationally and sold it.
I don't think people realize how young your kids are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How old are your 2
They're
kids?
7 and 9 right now.
7 and 9.
Yeah.
They own real estate.
Correct.
There are people all over the United States being like, I can't afford a home. I got a 7 and a 9-year-old in my gym.
Well, they didn't have expenses. They didn't
Yeah.
have overhead.
It's great.
So
No,
everything was net, and I didn't take my management cut. We've invested everything in there. Even though I was being coached by the managers and the agents, like, hey, moms deserve to take the 15%. I was like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
In fact, we also made a rule. Anybody who wanted to come for birthday parties or anything like that, it was no gifts allowed. It was money only. So we put that also into their accounts. They had Coogan accounts, child actors accounts.
Okay.
So when they were 6 and 8, we looked at the account and it was like, wow, there's a bit of savings here. So we can actually go ahead and buy a property, put it in the Coogan account.
Well,
So
we
they-
had it in the market. It was under index funds. It was doing quite well. We kept opening up the computer, showing them how it's growing. And then our son was like, oh, I can't buy a toy with this. Like, what are you showing me, a computer screen? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
So we said, why don't we just do a real estate transaction for them? Maybe they can live off the net proceeds or buy some toys. And that kind of changed their mindset around actually feeling the impact of cash flow.
So what do you say to other parents who are, why don't you let them be kids, right? Why don't, because this is obviously a grind, right?
Yeah.
They're going to auditions. It's not easy.
Yeah.
What do you,
I mean, it's all perception, right? If you gamify it and you make it look like that's what it is to be a child, then that's what it is. We also understand where to overload and where to offload. Like, they're homeschooled. So we're not burdening them with waking up at 6:30 o'clock in the morning and going into this robotic world of like learning certain subjects that you're never going to use, and being in, let's say, school dramas, right? Like, that's so heavy on a child's mind versus the characters that they're training for and the auditions that they're going for and the adult environments that they're growing into, and they're really understanding the human beings that they're becoming. Our son was in Martin Scorsese's daughter's movie as the lead actor, and that was shown in Cannes Film Festival. Recently, actually 2 months ago, he was playing the young version of Robert De Niro, and he's on set with Robert De Niro. So I'm just saying, like, be a kid. It's really how you define it. Our kids get the most amount of playtime I've ever seen in any other child's life. Because they're homeschooled, they have free schedule to play, unlimited amount of time.
It's a different homeschool environment than our era because, like, especially in Florida, that's like homeschool country.
Yeah.
And so before, back in our day, at 3 o'clock, you'd have to wait for the after-school programs to begin if you wanted Muay Thai, karate, whatever, wrestling. Now it's 8 in the morning. And you're there, and there's other homeschooling parents. So our children have 15 sets of friends versus us, just our school friends.
Well, I had a doctor on the podcast not too long ago, and she was telling me that there's all this research now, especially over in Europe and Italy, where people operate better. If you're going to go for therapy or if you're going to learn, it's better after you work out. So having exercise or any type of movement early in the morning
Yes.
sets the rest of the day up for success.
Yes.
If you look at some of the most successful people in the world, Tony Robbins, a lot of these people, they all talk about how they work out in the morning,
Yes.
and then that leads to the rest of the day.
Yes. Yeah,
And
I mean,
to that
that's...
point, our morning routine is, first of all, they wake up, they do their morning routines, they're self-managed, they have their check boxes, they do everything, they work out in the morning, then they go to their pickleball class, then they go to their boxing class. And by the way, they're doing this on their own. They'll ride their bike to where the pickleball court is, and they're coaching with a private coach. Then they go to the boxing, and they swap together. So now that they got all of this energy out of their bodies, they're able to better focus with their homeschool tutor. They come back, and they do one subject a week for 2 hours intense. And there's also research behind that. When you're in a regular school and you're just switching between subjects every 40 minutes, it almost causes ADHD. You're not really absorbing everything.
No.
Versus you're in home with a private tutor, 2 hours of math on a Monday, and you don't touch math until next Monday for 2 hours again.
you got to wake up and with your W's, you got to win in the morning. So, you know, when you're working out, you have a regiment, you get that over with. The hardest part is over. Everything else is easy. So working out is key.
You're born and raised here in New York.
Yes.
Where did this mentality come from? Where did you guys kind of develop this out of?
Well,
Because you guys are very progressive with this idea, and I agree with it. I think one of the things that we've missed really in this country is the way the schooling system works, right? If you look at a school from 100 years ago, it looks the same as it does right now, and they're doing the same thing. And people are paying $40,000, $50,000 a year to send a 4-year-old to school nowadays here in New York City, but it's the same shit.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
can I tell you, we were actually in the middle of researching that when our daughter, our firstborn, was 11 months old. I took it upon myself because I'm from Armenia, born and raised. I moved here when I was 20. So I really never knew about the schooling system in this country. I was like, okay, well, I really don't know anything about the school. So I want to choose the best option. So since she was 11 months old, I started going on all these tours. And he was with me. He's like, this is too early, babe. I'm like, no. I think it's going to take me like 3 years to really understand what is going on. So we literally toured every single type of school. It's a magnet, charter, public, private. There's the school Whittle. I don't know if you know, that's like the $50,000, like super expensive. We've gone to all these schools.
What do they offer you?
Waldorf, Montessori. Yeah, so it's really like the building, for example. It's high-end, super clean, super progressive. They go child-led, right? Reggio Emilia, Whittle offers that, Reggio Emilia psychology. Where
There's different modalities of learning.
different modalities, right? So I wanted to understand that. Took us about 2 years to really spread it out and really understand it as science. The first choice that we made for her when she was 3, Montessori. That's really nice when the kid is little. But I realized there were some holes for me personally. And so we switched to a public school because I was like, you know, all the tours that we've done, I still don't get what it's like to be a student in these systems.
We chose a public school in a high zip code. So it's like some people moved certain areas for that public school.
It was blue ribbon, everything. Right? I was like, okay, let's understand that. So we went there for a year. It was a very big disappointment. The learning, I mean, and I come from
They're
a
watching
Soviet,
cartoons. Like,
They're watching, I come from a Soviet country. Like Armenia was a Soviet country, so learning was beautiful there, right? Like I loved to learn. I looked forward to learning. Here they were dreading it. There wasn't much being taught. And then the environment in which they were it was just not there. And they were also mixing a lot of different styles of kids together. So some of them were totally sucking up the time of the teacher.
Then we threw them in private school, a Greek
Greek
Orthodox private school. And
that was nicer, smaller environment, more boutique, but still had a ton of holes. And then when we moved to Florida, we went to the private school. That was my most favorite. They were offering just more education, Mandarin, Spanish. The science was like a real science, like they were doing stuff. They were flying parachutes, like they had the funding to do that.
founder of Spanx, I went there.
Yeah.
It was really nice in
High
Clearwater.
end. And what I was not liking was the environment, like the kids that were just affecting the personalities of my children. And I was like, why should other parents' mistakes become my problem? Because their mistakes come through their kids into my house.
Yeah.
And it's like we always look at the pure white milk. If there's like a drip of chocolate, it becomes chocolate milk, right? And we said, we like our milk pure, so let's just pull them out. And also at that time,
We tried a hybrid system. We kept Legend. We moved to another part of Florida. We kept Legend in private school, which had like a big soccer program, was a big to-do. Then we tried the homeschooling. We did the homeschooling with our daughter. Man, it was night and day. Like just like week 1, week 2, like
Do you have someone come to us?
Yeah. We
Different
chose
people for different
qualified.
subjects?
Just two.
you know what's interesting? In Florida, they actually pay you to homeschool. Like you actually get money from it's state. If you even
I
if
guess
you don't
because
need
you're
it.
not using the resources.
You're
of
not using the
city.
resources, but there's a marketplace. There's a lot of teachers that left certain states for certain reasons and are out there as independent
Those are probably
contractors.
the ones you want.
Yes, they're like principals
Yeah.
of other states. They're
Yeah.
really good and they're very selective with. They're interviewing you as you're interviewing them.
Yes.
And so
And we're able to complete an entire grade level in 5 months, which is half the academic year. So literally yesterday, Legend did his final test. He's done. So he's got the entire semester, and I'm not going to push him to 3rd grade. I don't ever want to make him feel uncomfortable. Instead, we're going to work on his autobiography or writing a keynote speech and learning that and going. You understand?
incredible,
Like
yeah.
we're doing debate classes, we're doing etiquette classes, we're expanding their horizon about life.
I was just telling a friend of mine yesterday that I just hired a business coach to help me just organize the way my businesses operate. Now that I have multiple businesses, and then how it funnels into accounting and everything else. And I go, I was never taught any of this.
Right.
I don't understand it. Now here I am spending $15,000, $20,000 at 42 years old to learn this stuff. But it seems to me that they're getting this type of education earlier on in life. I think that's so important. We have done such a disservice to the youth of America, and now it's like the shit that you hear about all the time going on in schools.
Bad,
You're like, why are this should have no bearing on a child's life. You know,
it really is.
It's scary how
Also the nutrition too, the water,
horrible.
The water fountains full of fluoride, the food, the lunch food. It's and you know, I also noticed something. I'm a very, very health oriented person, right? In our house, literally, I am the RFK of our house. So I noticed the shift when they were starting to go to school. I'm packing them olives and pickles and really healthy stuff. And the kids were starting to call their yum and you. How do you say that? They were yucking my yum. They were yucking my yum. But basically, every time they would go to school, they would open up. Obviously, like the foods that I was sending them, they've got garlic and onion. It would smell, right? So the kids would always kind of, not bully, but say, ew, what are you eating?
they're
So
eating
now-
gummy bears and shit like
Exactly, goldfish. And so they would come home and it started rubbing on them. And they were like, I don't want that anymore. It stinks. My friends don't like it. So can I just eat school lunch? So it was starting to affect my beliefs. There's so much in school that you just don't want that influence in your house. But again, like we have an amazing support team. Like we have my mother-in-law that lives with us, right? So we constantly have somebody at home. So even if we have to go to work and work meetings, there's always someone watching them, and the tutors come in and out of the house. Like that's our classroom. Our home is our classroom.
Business coaching is key in any size of your business. I mean, even Tony Robbins at his level, he takes business coaching from people. So it's a great thing that you're doing that. On that note, our children watch shows like The Profit. They watch Shark Tank. They watch Restaurant Rescue, Bar Rescue.
So,
And what we do is we say, besides the concept of the show, what did you extract from the personalities? And so a lot of times there's shows on The Profit where the business owner inherited the business from their parents, but they actually never worked a day in their life. And that's why the business is failing. And so they understand the principle of kind of earning it and having to work and understanding what's going on, understanding people, having people skills.
I was just telling a friend of mine, I could send you a book on how to invest better, how to run a business better mindset, how to get in better shape. I don't think there's any books on how to raise children the right way.
There is actually. There are books. I was eating them for lunch and breakfast. Like there is so many parental books that can make you your best potential self as a mother.
Yeah.
And there's parenting coaches too. We got coaching from breastfeeding, all that kind of sleep coach, all that kind of stuff.
I went to breastfeeding coaching, La Leche League moms. I was in all these mom groups reading the books.
But I feel like some of those things could probably become pretty political pretty quickly, right? Like they waver on one side or the other. I feel like everything now has become, you're either super left or super right.
Or
and
super
nobody
crunchy or no.
Yeah.
I could, unless you have a worldwide look at life and you're not really subscribing to any one look at life, and you just want to pluck out the best that fits you.
Yeah.
Because after all, you have your own soul that believes and thrives in certain ways, so it has to align with you.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty impressive. I mean, I'm kind of jealous of them that they got such cool parents. I really didn't. We come from a generation where it's like, all right, just go to school, whatever you learn, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what's going on with Biohack Yourself? I mean, this is what we're really here to dig into.
We're experiential documentarians. And so one of the documentaries we made was called Biohack Yourself. It featured Dave Asprey, Ben Greenfield, Bruce Lipton, RFK Jr.
114 interviews.
And so that really, first of all, we went through a whole entire biological transformation, really understanding red light therapy, PEMF, stem cells, all those things, and doing a deep dive and really building and cultivating deep relationships with the film, with the people we casted in the film.
It was a pain to purpose story in a way, because our son, when he was born, he was misdiagnosed 7 times.
With what?
On the spectrum, Lyme disease,
Really?
restless leg syndrome, and with every diagnosis, we were receiving medication. So I had my kitchen table with the paperwork, the testing, the diagnosis, and the medication on top. And I was just waiting to see which two are aligned. Like, is there two responses that match? And there wasn't. So I completely shifted my research into functional medicine practices. I actually found Dr. Tom O'Brien, his book Autoimmune Fix. That was my morning, that was his morning alarm. And I was listening to his books. I was listening to Dr. Steve Gundry, and completely pivoting my understanding of what health should be in this country. Because I was raised in Armenia, super duper healthy, super duper organic. But with those beliefs, I was glyphosate toxic because I was eating salads and broccoli without really understanding the type of washing you have to do, the type of shopping you have to do, like all the details that you have to go into. So starting from his misdiagnosis and us making that shift, we went deep into really understanding what biohacking is, and we managed to heal all of his ailments. He only had mold infection, and he had the 2 copies of MTHFR gene mutation, and our mold was in our HVAC system.
Oh, wow.
So I'm just saying, it took me 20 functional medicine doctors to get to that, to solve the puzzle, to then detox him, to now have a brilliant child who was being diagnosed as autistic and given liquid iron, which would have made him autistic because he has the 2 copies of MTHFR gene mutation. So when we dodged the bullet in such a massive way, we felt like we would wake up almost like crying every day from gratitude of how I was able to just dig. And I was like this super exhausted mom because I couldn't sleep. He wouldn't let me sleep. So by the time he was like 10 months old, I had lost my mind.
Well, not just him. Our daughter had a golf ball-sized lymph node on her neck. It was like sticking out. It was there, evident.
It just came because she was battling a high fever and her lymphatics kicked in to fight the virus, but something got trapped. When it got trapped, her entire lymphatics got stagnated.
So what did you do to...
Well, we went through the whole documentary series, meeting everyone, asking for answers, going through the protocol, lymphatic massage, this, that.
And towards the end of the documentary, because we were actually researching when we were filming, we were really trying to find answers, right? How do you detox this? How do you do this? Finally, we went and oxygen bath, hydrogen bath, red light therapy, twice a day, 7 days a week. And her entire lymphatics drained. She would be laughing her tail off, running around in the hallways, pooping her brains out. Like everything came out. We were shocked.
What happened was we had a big premiere at the A4M. I don't know if you know the American Academy of Anti-Aging. They have it's the Super Bowl of longevity conferences.
Okay. Where is that, in Vegas?
In Vegas. And so they said, you guys did an amazing job casting your Biohack Yourself documentary. We'd love to host your premiere at the end cap of our big, it's like 10,000 attendees, 1,000 exhibitors. You and I can't even go. If you have to be a doctor or have some sort of initials on the back of your name in order to get in, because they're very serious. You get continuing education credits if you were just by listening to lectures. So we had the premiere, 800 people. There was 300 people we knew already in our network that were part of the film, part of new films we were doing, and then the whole entire community came.
Titled it the Oscars of Longevity.
Yeah.
Because we recognize what these people are doing. They're the real superstars, and they need that kind of recognition. So we laid out 10 red carpet stations. Well, it was black carpet stations. And we were, press and media, videography, photography.
We had already turned our Biohack Yourself brand into a news and media company, because what we do with our documentaries, we start priming the internet with shorts and reels and trailers. We've never seen this type of reception. Can you heal me? Can you help me? What information? I love this, bro. Who do I go to? I love this. But people were saying, I love the documentary. I was like, it doesn't come out till December 15th. They felt like they saw it already.
Yeah.
They saw enough. So we got on stage with the children, and we said to everybody in the room, it was 800 people in the room, and I said, I know what you're thinking. We're not going to, because what happens a lot in this industry, especially if people understand media marketing and they have some capital, if you have 6-minute abs, I'll invent 5-minute abs. And so we're like, the world doesn't need another pill, potion, and lotion. But what we did recognize is that you guys need a voice. We want to be that voice for you guys. We want to support you guys. We want to help you guys market. We want to help you. We want to shout from the rooftop because you guys changed our life.
We're basically going to be the ESPN and the Vogue for this industry. And what we set out to do, we actually did by January 20th, producing a Maha Bowl for RFK Jr. and being the only exclusive trusted media in the room. And that was basically the launch of our media company. Currently, we have about 30 journalists that work for us, and we cover everything from UFC to Pickleball World Cup to Turning Point USA, whether it's a political event, biohacking event, biological dental event, we're everywhere, fashion event, because everybody likes to, share their information about how they're healing themselves and what their morning routines are, and B, our viewership is stunning. It's 10 million views a month because people are hungry to understand the real behind the scenes of all the people that they admire.
Well, there's so much controversy around a lot of this stuff, right? You know, it took us till 2026 to flip the pyramid.
That's right.
You know, I think there's a lot of us, I've been shouting from the rooftops for the longest time that strength training is what everyone should be doing. The amount of arguments and you know, conversations I've had with people about how this should be the base of what you're doing on a daily basis. Everything else comes secondary, in my opinion. I think the gateway drug to the best version of yourself is if you start lifting weights. Anybody, 5-year-old kids to 105-year-old people, it doesn't matter. I think it's the basis of what we should all be doing. Obviously, sleep and nutrition are the 3 columns that I think everybody should have. Why do you think it took us so long to get here? Because there's all this research, there's all these people. Growing up when I was a kid, it didn't take, you know, a degree in education or exercise science to understand that, like, well, if I want to look like anybody, you know, my dad was fat, out of shape, old school Italian guy who never worked out, ate like shit. The only thing he ever ate was like pasta and pastries. And then I looked at somebody like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm like reading muscle magazines, and here he is, and he is eating tuna out of the can and steaks and chicken. I'm like, well, I should just do more of what he's doing because him and my father are the same age, and he looks way better. So I'm going to do that. You know?
I think the answer to your question is identity foreclosure. I think a lot of doctors, practitioners, they don't want to really change what their entire life's work was about, what their professor they admired and respected was teaching them, what the book said, right? And all of the recommendations they made to all the clients and the, you know, people that they've helped or gave prescriptions to. So that's one. 2 is there's financial incentives. There was a whole entire industry propped up and supported in the sick care system. 3 is I think there wasn't enough people getting fed up. I think there wasn't, you know, social media really brought things to light, and then that's when some of the shadow
it exposed a lot of the misunderstandings that we've had. You know, obviously I give it up to Gab. You know, I said she was my doctor years ago, and she was kind of reinforcing the beliefs that I had. So now I think it was probably like 2016, 2017 when I started to really, you know, this is when the Ben Greenfields and the Dave Aspreys and the Mark Sissons were coming to life. But a lot of these guys aren't doctors. They're just guys who are super into, you know, and I mean, obviously she's a doctor, but a lot of these people were just like, hey, I'm just going to play with this and keep playing with it and figure it out. And I think they've really changed the way we look at the world. I mean, Andrew Huberman is obviously one of these people that people go to him for this type of information. You know, and you guys are bringing light to this whole world. Like this is what I wanted to do with my event here in New York, was I wanted to bring in these people because I was early on adopting a lot of this stuff that these people were saying, and I was like, oh, if I could get them to come speak at my event, then people will understand, because I don't have the letters after my name for people to believe that I know what the hell I'm talking about. But even the people who have the letters after their name, now there's all this controversy. It's like, well, they're so far right, that's why they say these things and blah, blah, blah. But I think there's truth to it. We're seeing the results, and you know, it speaks for itself.
For us, biohacking, longevity, wellness, that is our religion, like, or political view, right? To us, it doesn't really matter. All the political views or all the religions, we all speak one language, being human.
But there's
being
misinformation. I think that's the problem. I think people, when, you know, somebody told me the other day, they're like, when you're building a brand, whether you want to or not, because I was like, I think everybody can get along and blah, blah, and they're like, well, you think so or not? You need an enemy. You need somebody who opposes what you believe. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I was like, if I had to pick somebody, it's all the people who say, hey, it's okay to be the way you are. And it's not, because there's health risks involved, right? There's depression, anxiety, and all these things come from eating a poor diet, not exercising, You know, so for me, it's like anybody who opposes the idea of like, hey, I should take better care of myself, that's the common enemy. So I think there is some sort of, there are people who are like, all this stuff that you guys are saying is bullshit. I think your kid should be in public schools and they should eat the same thing as everybody else. And you're like, well, no, who the fuck are you to tell me how to raise my kids?
Yeah.
Who are you to tell me how to live my life?
You know, our mindset is, because we don't do like controversial documentaries or pointing the finger or this government did that or this. We're more like, hey, a good analogy is like, okay, you want to smoke? Great. Here's what we're doing by not smoking.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know, okay,
Yeah.
but you want to smoke and die? Less competition for me, less competition for my kids.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do that. That's how I look at it, because just success leaves clues. And it's just like you said with the Schwarzenegger and all that kind of stuff, you can easily see what team do you want to choose, the team of health or the team of, you know, all sorts of clouded judgment and sickness. So I think time reveals all truths, and this is that moment where you can really see who was on the right side of history and the right decision making on all levels.
So you cleaning up your life,
Yeah.
what do you think really sparked that? Now, you were living here in New York at the time.
Yeah.
What was the first step? Was it hiring the trainer? Was it looking in the mirror? I remember, I talk about this a lot. There was a point, I was about 13 years old, 12, 13 years old. I was really heavy as a kid.
Yeah.
And I didn't know any better. At that age, I mean, you don't know.
Yeah.
And the world was a very different place in 1995, 96. And I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, I just felt so uncomfortable with myself. I was very unhappy. I was depressed. And I said, I'm gonna start going to the gym.
Yeah.
That's the first
old
thing.
were you?
13 years old.
Wow.
And I'm probably 12. And I was like, I need to start working out and I need to start doing this thing. And I used to go up into my room and I used to do push-ups and sit-ups, and I wanted to start eating the right way. I remember when I told my grandmother, I was like, on Sunday, I can't eat pasta anymore. And she's like, what do you mean? What are you gonna eat? You're gonna die. Like, no, I'm just done with this. I can't eat this shit anymore. And she's like, why? I'm like, well, because Ronnie Coleman doesn't eat it, so I'm not eating it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
for you.
I think for me, it was a culmination of, well, first of all, I tried 9 times and failed. And so the 9th time I did the gastric sleeve, and I did it because she was on my back, and I lost 50 pounds and I gained 70. So I stretched my stomach back out. Gastric sleeve is when you cut the stomach in half.
Yeah.
Immediately lost weight, but I was losing muscle. And then I started getting sleep apnea. My health was declining really fast at that point. And I told her, leave me alone. I want to die fat and happy with the mac and cheese in my mouth. I don't want to hear this mess anymore. I tried.
Very vivid, right? You
But
can
No,
imagine.
I get it.
Yeah.
I had a client here
Yeah.
who was very much like that.
Yeah.
You know, he had the gastric sleeve, and you know he wouldn't listen. And like his mother was paying me. This is a grown man. He's my age.
Yeah.
His mom was paying me to train him, and it's like he would get here and avoid doing anything.
Anything, yeah.
And as soon as the hour's up, he's like, all right, I got to go to work, and he'd hide in the bathroom and do all the shit. And I'm like, dude, it's not even about the money. I don't care about the money. Like, it's not. Even if I was charging you $500 an hour, it's not going to move the needle for me.
Right.
I need you to change the way you operate.
Yeah.
You need to change your habits, and you need to look at this more of as an enjoyable thing than you look at it as like an avoiding thing.
I needed a why, because I had success, I had love, I had a beautiful family, my wife, and it was really my wife kind of staging it where I had to do it, because
It's a whole movie production.
yeah, it's a whole
How to get him to have that why.
She put a picture of a person with 6-pack abs and my face on it, plastered it all over the house. You know, affirmations,
I'm very
vision
visual.
boards.
Vision boards, yeah.
The kids were very active in their child acting career. They got older, and now they were booking family shoots. They want a mother, a father, a daughter, a son. And I swear, one of the shoots, they booked a guy, almost looks like him, right? It was like,
Yeah,
it was like,
actually, that's
actually, I'll show
true.
you the picture. And I couldn't even play my own kid's dad. I was doing BTS.
That must have been a kick in the balls.
Yeah.
First, I was avoiding like even submitting for those jobs.
Yeah.
But then when we did the dream board photo, I was like, submit.
And then I had my son, and that, like you said, you know, you were a son, and you're looking at your dad versus Arnold, and I know that feeling, and I'm like, I don't want him to look down on me. Then I was the worst influence at restaurants. I'm the one eating off the kids' meal. She's over there giving them all the healthy food. The kids were old enough to see that dad's eating a different meal than them, and they wanted to eat the mac and cheese, the fries. One of those incidents, she got fed up. She told our daughter, don't eat that, you're gonna get fat. And kids at a certain age, they don't know certain words like what's fat. She showed her a video of obese people. She looked at those people in the YouTube video at the restaurant, then she looked at me like, oh, you're one of those. Like, you're not normal. And that really hit me. And then everything started. It's like when you buy a red car, you see all the other red cars. Every other clue started coming to me, like the personal trainer that was on my back talking to me that my friend introduced me to. It's like anytime, anywhere, whatever. Like all those connections. Then I started searching, and then the algorithm started feeding me stuff, before and after pictures. And, then I stumbled on this word. I didn't want to be Jared from, Subway with the oversized pants but still have your shirt on. I'm like, that doesn't erase what you did. Then I discovered this word transformation. And my algorithm started feeding me people that completely transformed, like had to lose skin, but lost weight, had to lose skin, and did the surgery, looked amazing. Started doing stuff. I'm like, whoa, there's a world out like that? That was the world I want to be in. Similar to what you're doing here, right? This is a different type of workout world that you have here. There's a certain caliber and quality of person that wants to come to something like this.
Of course. Well, I think it's more of a serious clientele.
Correct.
Like, not to say that people who go to big box gyms aren't serious. Those are the people who already have the discipline to show up and do what they need to do. However, I would challenge most people that if you have a workout partner, a trainer, or a group around you, you'll get 30 to 40% more out of your workout
100%, yeah.
than you will doing it by yourself.
Yes.
People who want to work out by themselves, nothing against it. Every once in a while, I like doing it. I would rather, on a daily basis, work out with 1 or 2, 3, 4 other people and be in that community, because one, it gives them that opportunity to hang out and socialize, but also get more out of what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. So, once I was in the business of losing weight and fighting for my life, I treated it like a business. You mentioned business coach. I needed a coach. I'm like, I'm out of my core competency, right? When you recognize, like, I have something here, I want to take it to the next level. So I tried my normal tricks, my fake diets, and I lost like 10, 20, 30 pounds. Like every fat guy has that up his sleeve. We know how to lose weight. You always have 3 sizes of suits and clothes in your closet. But then I said, no, I'm hitting a wall here. I'm about to hit a wall. Let me get professional help. Similar to what you said. I want to scale. I want to grow. It's getting a little bit, this is not fun anymore.
Well, because you'll spend years trying to figure it out.
Right.
When it's like, how do you biohack? Well, it's a cheat code.
Yes.
How do I figure this out
Yes.
faster? Well, I just hire somebody who's better at it.
That's it. That's it. So once I did that, I started investing in all of the right infrastructure, like I would a business transaction. Let's say we do a building. Who's going to be the architect? Who's going to be the builder? Who's going to be the electrician? Bring in the trades.
Yeah. You can't have just one guy do it all.
Right.
And that's the misinformation, I think, out there. Is like, oh, there's one person who has all the answers, and it's not. No. If this one person worked for everybody, that'd be the only guy in the business. But
I think for the success also very important, the team was important, because we allocated all the duties, because meal prepping, for example, was super important, right? To maintain, to lose the weight and gain the muscle, you have to be on the meal prep. So his mom jumped in, was like, okay, I'm gonna take this. My mom moved in with us, and she was like, okay, I'll be the person that wakes up at night to watch the kids, because you're so busy in the morning. So that he has to rest. So it was a team effort, like his mom, my mom, and our kids, and myself, and him, and a nutritionist, and then your other trainer, the guy that actually passed away.
Yeah, so, another thing for me is relatability, working out with someone that you respect, or, taking mentorship. That guy happened to be a barber. He got into personal training. He was amazingly fit. And he was trying to launch an Airbnb business. He owned like 2 or 3 properties. And there was a value exchange. I'm like, I'm going to mentor you on how to be a real estate, mogul, and you're going to mentor me how to get in shape. So he trained me. The guy, the nutritionist I flew in from Ireland, he's now a millionaire. When we did a Zoom call, he had a tattoo on his arm. And I was interviewing him, and I said, it says millionaire on your arm. He said, I said, are you a millionaire? He said, not yet, sir. I said, live with me for a year, I'll make you a millionaire. I said, you got to make me a health millionaire. He said, deal. And so that's what it was. I gamified it.
So where do you guys live in Florida?
Boca Raton.
Okay, so a friend of mine lives in Delray Beach.
Yeah.
He happens to own TRX now.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and his name's Jack Daly, great guy. he worked for Goldman Sachs for a long time, obviously knows the business world. And one of the things he had said one time we were talking, he goes, I try to teach a lot of these finance guys that they'll run out of their health before they run out of their wealth.
Sure.
And there's so many people out there, because we're seeing this divide in the world, and people are making a lot of money and they're hoarding it all away. And then you have other people on the opposite end aren't really making anything. So we're seeing this divide. But at the same time, there's so many people making tons of money. And what's the point of having it if you're not spending it? And what I think is more important is your health.
Yeah.
That's the real wealth. So it's like you could have health across the board. I mean, one of the things I try to teach people, obviously, like being in New York and we live in a bubble, but like there's so much information out there, and there's so many ways to get in shape. Because one of the things I want to ask you guys about, there's obviously people who don't have the resources you do. They don't live in Florida. Like, I think there's a lot of opportunities that you guys have that most people don't. But I want them to learn from you guys. I don't want them to be like, oh, well, they have everything and that's why I can't do it. It's like, no, you could do it too. You just need to just figure out how to do it on a budget or find the right place. I think what I always said, why I called the company Strong New York, was because I said, if I can make it viral to be healthy and take care of yourself in New York City, where everything becomes cool, well, then we could do it everywhere else. Right?
I addressed that at the end of the Fat Lolli to Six Pack Lolli documentary. I said, I know you're watching this because I was very transparent about my success and all the different things. And you're thinking he has money. This is why he had access to coaches. But our answer to that was our docuseries. So in our docuseries, we started working with coaches that only charge $150, $200 a month. And when we were competing, we were there with single moms. If you needed to be a millionaire to compete, then that would have been networking. We would have, made a lot. It was regular people, mailmen were competing, especially in the transformation category. So it doesn't take much. And it's actually more expensive to eat bad, eat out, Uber Eats.
It's just all excuses.
Yeah, it's all excuses.
I agree.
It all comes down to self-discipline and your why and how committed you are to that.
Well, funny story. I love Oprah. I do. I think she's the American dream. Right? If you had to pick like 3 people to be the Mount Rushmore of the American dream, she would definitely be one of the heads up there. But she was saying something the other day on The View that has gone viral.
The GLP-1 thing,
Well, just saying like there's a fat gene. I go, it's more of a discipline gene.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, do you have the discipline to tell yourself like, hey, this isn't great for me. I'm going to get this value out of it right now, and I'm going to somewhat enjoy whatever I'm eating now, but I'm going to reap the aftermath of that.
Yeah.
Right? Discipline and habit changing is what I try to get my clients to understand.
Can I actually add to that?
Sure.
I do agree with understanding your genes and genetic mutations, because that has made a whole difference for ourselves.
Sure. Yeah.
And I understand, like, for example, 10X Health, right? They have an amazing gene test where they can understand what genes are affecting your certain abilities to detox, or obesity gene. Like, that exists. So when you take the supplements that are super customized for you, that they make after understanding your genetic makeup, your life does become much easier.
I 100% agree, because I have friends who work in the fitness industry. Now, everybody, because I work in the industry and I've been doing it for so long, everybody's like, well, you always look like this. I'm like, no, I don't. No. If I stop working out for a couple days, I have the obesity gene or the fat kid gene.
Yeah, he's Italian.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I gravitate towards eating like shit.
Wow.
But I have to be super strict with myself. And there's definitely drugs out there. I mean, GLP-1s and peptides, all this stuff could absolutely make the job easier, but I think it starts, because you could take all that shit till you're blue in the face. You could pump it through your eyeballs. Sure. But if you have no discipline and you don't change the habits, then you're gonna resort back to it. Just like you said, you got the sleeve, you gained more weight back. You didn't actually change you just changed your genetic makeup for a little bit.
And by the way, we didn't know his genetic makeup when he transformed. So it is possible to do it without all of that. But yes, does it help? Like, our kids, both, and myself, were on the gene supplements. And let me tell you, like, the bloating has completely stopped.
Of course.
There is so much, like, the vitamin levels regulated without taking vitamin D, for example, right? Because my daughter and I have this gene that's not methylating vitamin Ds, for example. There's all of that that helps a lot. And this is why we love biohacking, and we love the world of biohacking, because there's so much happening on day-to-day basis. Currently, it's a $3.3 trillion industry, and it's going to double in the next 2 years.
I believe, yeah.
So there's a lot of people coming into the industry. There's a lot of hidden talent that is coming out of their bunkers as well. So we're here in the front lines with our documentaries, with our print magazine, with our media company, bringing that to the masses. We have become that bridge that speaks the everyday person's language, and we even engage our children to do more journalism, to speak and simplify these languages. And we bring these amazing innovators, these amazing bubbles into the mainstream. For example, biological dentistry. Let me tell you.
I'm so into this right
Oh my
now.
gosh. After interviewing 114 people for Biohack Yourself, then we went straight into producing a women's health documentary. 80 experts interviewed there, only because I met JJ Virgin, who you probably know, and she said, look, there's a big problem. 80% of women are struggling with autoimmune conditions, and you know why? Because there's no research being done on women's health, and all women are being treated as small men. So this is what JJ Virgin told me. She's like, what if we just produce one documentary that is just focused on how do women need to biohack themselves. So it turned into a 3-part documentary. It is actually set to premiere during the Cannes Film Festival. So now Hollywood is taking interest in us. The president of Film USA invited us to premiere it, gave us an entire theater. So we're headed out there
This
for
is
May
incredible.
15th. You should come.
I would
love to invite you.
I would absolutely love to do
Perfect.
it. I'm so, like, I eat, sleep, shit, and breathe health and wellness, biohacking. People are always like, oh, you're going to that too? I go to everything. I go to everything because I want to optimize what I know and my own health and wellness and help as many people as I can. I can't give you, you know, people always ask me, well, what do you think of GLP-1s? Now it's getting a little bit more accepted.
Yeah.
But 2 years ago, when people are, and I tried it. I did Ozempic maybe twice, and it made me so nauseous. I felt terrible on it. But I said, I can't tell people about this until I try it myself.
Sure.
And I think it's a great catalyst and a great way. Like, I've been trying to get my mom to do it. She refused to do it.
Do you prefer tirzepatide though?
Tirzepatide, yes, but Ozempic was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, that was the beginner one.
Tirzepatide is now
Yeah.
the more advanced version. Yeah, it's a better form.
I believe in it.
And then there's, what's the new one? Retatrutide.
Retatrutide, yeah. I, you know, as a former fat person doing fat documentary, like working with really people 500 pounds. We did another documentary called Skin Deep. There was the kid was 500 pounds. He lost 300 pounds. He had 300 pounds of loose skin. Won body transformation competitions. We paid for his
35
surgery.
pounds
35, yeah, 35
because
pounds.
we actually weighed it.
So that struck a chord because when you're fat, there's like the guys that are 500 pounds, they considered us skinny, like they're like you guys are nothing.
Yeah.
So they don't even respect us, and so that's a whole nother level when you're 500 pounds.
It's like you don't respect me losing 25 pounds.
Yeah. So like so anyway, but what the GLP-1s are, if it allows you to do a bankruptcy. That's what it is. If you have a bad business and the creditors are coming, you just can't get out of it. You're like below -0. You have to file for bankruptcy and to give you a fresh start. Now, whether or not you're going to do the right things after the fresh start, it's up to you. So you can't do that and not work out, not take protein, amino acids. Like the whole part of starting over, building your credit again is to do that. So that's a tool that allows you to reset, you know, and file for physical bankruptcy, but then get the right training, the right help, right? And then build brand new. And that's supposed to be the art of the comeback. Really just coming back, because I've noticed a shift with people when they lose weight. They start acting like the person that goes to the gym. They start doing the exercises. They start even faking it on camera on social media, but then they start saying, whoa, I actually look good in that angle. Right? And then they start doing the workouts and like, maybe I could do a pull-up. Maybe I should do that. And they start adopting that persona and then it goes from there. But take that pill off or that shot off. If you don't have the right mindset, the right coach, the right understanding of meal plans, it can quickly balloon you back up.
I think a lot of people, if you're out there and you're hesitant about doing it, I think you should definitely try it if it's something you need. Now, where it gets abused is like there's a lot of men and women out there who are already thin, who are jabbing themselves for no reason. You don't really need it. I think it's abuse of the product. It's the same thing with, you know, I'm on testosterone. I take testosterone, but I'm not taking, you know, 2,000 milligrams. So I'm, you know, I'm not trying to be a bot. Yeah, I do it to feel better, you know. And if the goal is to get yourself to some sort of optimal level, that's great. But I know a ton of guys. I think the risks. People don't understand the risks of overdoing a lot of these drugs, and they need to be monitored by a doctor. And there are so many great companies out there and so many great doctors out there who could walk you through the process. There's blood work has to be done. I think that's one of the things that people don't realize is that that needs to be one of the first steps you take. I walk clients through it all the time. I think it's so important. And I think there's so much research that now it makes it socially acceptable as well. I think prior to 3 years ago maybe, people weren't as willing to try different things.
No.
You know?
If you want the best results, in my opinion, what worked for me was to combine tirzepatide with Prolone. And I've done it one time, so you're just doubling down on getting the autophagy, right? You know what that means. You're getting rid of the dead cells, you're actually doing a major cleanse and losing the fat. For 5 days, you're doing a fasting mimicking diet with Prolone, and tirzepatide helps you close the appetite, right? To then be able to do the fast.
Wow.
So if you do it that way, you're getting double the benefits. You're losing the fat, you're getting rid of your dead cells, your zombie cells. You're actually coming out of it as a brand new person.
Well, I tell people ask me about fasting all the time. You know, it's one of these things. It's like, oh, the best biohack. I think it's a great way to reset your body and your system and get rid of a lot of the dead cells. Yeah, I think, and Prolon is basically that. Right?
Prolon is great. It's a fasting mimicking, so you're not completely doing a fast. You still have like a cracker or an olive.
Sure.
But if you use the tirzepatide at that point,
it makes it easier. Yeah.
It's just it makes the use of it purposeful, you know, rather than just, you know, using tirzepatide and eating the same way you want to eat. It shifts something in your mind too, that you just up-level your integrity about yourself.
For sure. Well, I think that's what people are missing nowadays, right? Everybody, you know, we live in this state of depression. So many people, like even us, we're in great shape. There's probably things that get us down, but we could come out of it. I know how to hack getting people in the gym, right? Like when people are, I don't want to do this. Yes, a program works better than just mindlessly going to the gym, but I teach people all the time. It's like, all right, get in the gym, start swinging a bell, throw a ball, do something that gets your heart rate up, and then you'll start to want to work out. Yeah. I think there's like different ways to enter into the, like pick an exercise that you like. It doesn't have, and and just start doing that, and then you're like, okay, I feel pretty good, I'm gonna start working out. But a lot of people, you know, either avoid the gym because they don't wanna go, or they just don't know how to get started. I think there's a lot of, but I think GLP-1s are a great way to start to understand like how good you could actually feel, because so many people live in this state of, I don't even know what to call it, where you're just okay with being in pain, and you're okay with that mental crutch of being overweight and out of shape. You don't realize how good you could feel when you start to really take care of yourself. Yeah.
When you dive into a muscle building journey, also our research on ourselves has shown that even when you're bodybuilding, you need to be understanding what you're wearing, what fabric are you putting on yourself. Bras, like did you know that foam bras are full of toxic, and if you're sweating in them, you could get breast cancer down the line, so you gotta replace it with non-foam, 100% cotton bras, for example. Your Lara Trump actually has her athletic line that is 100% cotton, made in the USA. So like all those little shifts actually make a much bigger difference rather than just going and sweating and working out and getting the plastic into your body.
Well, I know a couple of us here have our Nads boxers on.
Yeah,
we
Nads.
Love yeah. You wear them?
No.
Oh,
I don't know anything about them.
It's, 100% cotton.
Really?
Yeah, there's no dyes or any, you know, polyester in there.
So
I think it's important to really, like, if you're embarking on a journey, let's understand everything when you go into it. Take it as a college course, right? You're starting it the right way. You know you're going to graduate. This is your path. You're going to bunker down and you're going to study for something. Yeah. And that something is your best life ever.
And I think a lot of people want to bite off more than they could chew. I mean, this is one of the things. It's January right now, and everybody's like, all right, I'm going to start red light therapy, and I'm going to cold plunge, and I'm going to sleep well, and wear this thing and do this. I think it's taken a step at a time. You know, figure out what your gateway drug is. Sure. For me, I always try to get people in a communal setting where they feel like they're at home.
Yeah.
It feels warm and comfortable. So now, okay, this is a good place where I could work out. Yeah. Now I'm starting working out. I'm working out really hard. I should start to watch what I eat.
Yeah.
And now if I'm working out really hard and I'm watching what I eat, now I could figure out how I could sleep better and optimize my sleep. And I think those are like the gradual steps, because trying to do it all at once, some people can, but very few. I mean, we've seen it year after year. People are like, all right, this year I'm going to change everything about myself.
Yeah, you know, look, we have varying opinions on that subject matter. I think you're doing it the right way, but
You're babysitting.
you know,
Yeah,
but
Psychologist.
I'm a glorified babysitter.
I feel like, because, you know, sometimes depending on certain people that we platform, they're like, oh, well, they're not a doctor, they're selling snake oil, this, that. But the thing is, this same person that's discovering this person, because we have different level of functional medicine practitioners, and like the real people that cure cancer, do certain things. They're like, I don't have the budget or the persona, but I actually help people privately, you know. Like, for example, Gabrielle Lyon was your private functional. Now she adopted the persona to be able to be on a magazine, do all sorts of things, do things with like Chris Williams. And but, you know, it takes time. You have to learn that craft. And not all of the practitioners that know what they're doing know how to do that. So there's better marketers out there.
For sure.
But I'm like, this same person was eating a glyphosate cheeseburger. They would have never been your customer. They would have never entered. So like, I look at it like, let's just get them in the church. Whether you want to come in the church, you want to wear red light hat and the hyperbaric and the whole, you know, thing. Yeah, like, I'm like, just get in there, and then the right people, such as yourself, will be like, come here, let's get rid of all that. Let's do it this way. But we got to get them in the church first.
For sure,
And so there's different people doing different things, getting people to think about health. And then once they're here, it's game over. If they really want to do it, it's discoverability.
Well, I talked about this at Eudaimonia. I was talking to Andy Galpin, and he had said, he goes, it's only as of now that people realize that they have to do something. They might not be doing anything yet, but they're aware that there are things they could do to improve their lifestyles. And I was like, I totally agree with that. And I think going to events like that, you know, my event is the same thing. I just want to give people a place where they can learn, where they can make better decisions, where they could actually work out and do something. I think the thing that I've noticed about a lot of the biohacking events, the event that I saw you guys at and stuff, there's not enough room for people to start moving, right? Like, I don't want to fucking talk about it. I want to start doing it.
I love that.
Let's start doing it. Like, don't tell me all this shit and then not allow me to do it. Let's talk about it, let's do it, and let's move on. Because then, now it's like I have this community of people around me that believe the same thing.
Sure.
Like, I love going to these events because it's just reinforcing what I believe. And now there's more people out there talking about it. And I think, to me, I always felt that, just like you said, this is your church, right? It's the same thing with me. Like, the gym is a church. It's a place where people go on a daily basis to be around other people who share the same mindset. And they leave feeling better. That's what church was meant to do. So whether you believe in the iron gods or you believe in the God in heaven, it doesn't matter. Have some belief that makes you better. You know, and I think,
absolutely. Love it.
So now what's the next step with this? You guys are in town, you guys here in New York.
So we're filming the biological dental documentary.
Yeah.
Because after having 190 interviews and launching the media company, launching the magazine, we then discovered the world of biological
Well, I almost died in July. I had a sinus infection from a bad implant. This is after Biohack Yourself, after working with
tooth
Bobby.
implant?
No, tooth implant.
An implant that actually punctured his sinus, and the bone grafting material went in and blocked everything.
So I was
full of mucus.
I was so distracted with work and everything, and I was taking antibiotics. I started losing my eyesight and hearing. And I went to, it was bad.
So close.
Yeah.
You know, the sinus infection can take you.
Yeah, I've never gotten sinus infections before last year. Now I've had 2 of them. And I called my doctor and I was like, it feels like somebody's stepping on my face. Like, what, it's in my eye, my nose, and my tooth. What is this?
But then imagine if it's done artificially.
Yeah,
if there's
I
an
couldn't
actual
imagine.
foreign body inside your sinus blocking it. Because if you get a sinus infection regularly, your body's somehow going to find a way, right?
To find
with
out.
homeopathics or whatever to find a way out. But in his case, it had to be surgically done.
Yeah.
So we discovered this incredible, world-renowned maxillofacial surgeon who's also a biological dentist, Dr. Andres Fernandez. We went to Costa Rica, flew in emergency. He cleared his calendar and he laid him down. He's like, dude, like this is like no good. So after a 6 hour, was it 6 hours?
7 to 7 hour
What
surgery.
did
7
they
hours.
do?
Well, they had to drain it. They removed my entire sinus. It's like the documentary is very, very, very graphic. It shows you all of that stuff.
Did they have to cut your face open?
No, they went from under here,
From
drilled,
to-
and
Okay.
it was really.
I mean, we've documented everything.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm over there, I don't know, to pray for my husband and to like be nervous or to get the right shot. So I'm like director head and a wife head. But we got everything, we captured everything.
Yeah.
It was very dramatic. I've never experienced such a split personality. And when he woke up from his anesthesia, he was like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like trying to rip it open and just get out, because I don't know what happened with his subconscious, right? He's experiencing trauma.
Well, I think that's a dosage of anesthesia, because I've actually had that happen. to
Yeah,
me
you had
twice,
that, yeah.
Where like I woke up and I
Yeah,
start freaking
yeah,
out and pulling.
yeah. It's like
Yeah.
medical PTSD
Yeah.
for me, and
Yeah, I think it's the dose of anesthesia.
Yeah,
that
could
And
you-
I
be.
had to say to our videographer, I'm like, Adam, keep filming. Can we get help? Keep filming. Can we get help? Men, we need men to hold him down. It was crazy,
Yeah, it
but
was
thank God for his skill level. He was able to biologically contain everything, and even had to create a new drainage pathway through his nose. And so thank God, it's almost been 7 months.
7
We're
months,
7 months out, no repeated
Yeah.
instances. And
then we did her mother. She had 23 metal implants complications.
actually, we counted 25 complications. Okay, my mom at 62 years old, OG biohacker by all means, self-cured from everything, fixed me from a chronic bronchitis when I was like 2 with just homeopathic stuff, right? Like OG. And at
With
the
like
age of
onions and
Exactly, onions on your feet,
Yeah,
like
that's what I was gonna
literally.
say, stepping on
She
onions.
actually did urine therapy for 21 days to fix her ovarian cyst,
Wait,
which disappeared.
explain that to me.
Okay, so she was diagnosed with an ovarian cyst that it would become cancerous. You have to remove it surgically. And somehow, out of desperate research, she found this guy, Malakhov, who's a Russian doctor. He got deplatformed, by the way. But he had this book, Self Heals Self. So she found about urine therapy, and it made sense to her. She's like, yeah, this is like my own body, the intelligence, the innate intelligence, whatever. She's very godly, very God-fearing, God-believing. So it made sense to her at that moment. She used that 21 days of just drinking her own urine and water, and that's it. She goes back, the cyst has disappeared. So she,
That's
through
wild.
and through, she always taught us, don't believe in anything, question everything. Your health is your responsibility. Do not ever outsource your health to anyone, unless it makes sense to you, unless you're desperate and you still have to see 5 opinions before you settle for something. So that belief actually led us to these journeys. But at 62 years old, she's experiencing massive memory loss. She's experiencing kidney stones. And I'm like, what is happening? So we started deep research. We're now biohackers. We're the directors and producers. And we've done all this testing, mold tests, parasite tests, blood tests, and everything is checking out. But she's just sluggish and memory loss. Turns out 25 complications in her mouth. 16 of them were root canals, dead teeth sitting on a pile of
Metal,
poop,
yeah,
basically, and metal posts with metal caps. So these are 2 different types of metals that are consistently giving you galvanic shock because you're constantly around EMF and Wi-Fi. That attracts that too. And just the bacteria. Yesterday, we removed the remainder of her cavitations, which is basically the dirty ponds that were left inside of your mouth. When they do an extraction, right, they take a tooth out, but they don't cleanse the area properly. They don't really ozonate and red light therapy and laser therapy and put a bone graft to pack it in like cement. They kind of give you a gauze and then you leave, right? But in this case, they put you on a bone healing protocol, pre-surgery, post-surgery. It takes you about a year to get one tooth extracted and replaced with ceramic.
There's a scene in the film where her first surgery with the same Dr. Jay Gandhi, they remove one of those metal on metal things, little mold in it. Like
No,
you
a
could
lot
see.
of mold, gangrene. She's living with all of this. And turns out, after all the abuse that she was getting from just her mouth, we went to a brain rewiring expert, Dr. Douglas and Dr. Tiff. They're a couple together. We went to Santa Barbara, and they checked her brain levels, and she had a lot of brain atrophy. So can you imagine all that metal is consistently abusing your brain? So everything was happening here. Thank God everything was like clean here. We rewired her brain, which meant taking her brain to the gym, constantly giving her this pulse electro. I can't even tell you what they were doing. I didn't really study it, but she came out of it almost speaking some English.
She looks 10 years younger.
She looks 10 years younger.
Wow.
Everything is gone out of her mouth. We replaced it with ceramic bone graft material, which is called Inroad. We found that that was the best one. They're featured in our documentary. It absorbs for blood absorption, blood flow, and then ceramic implant, which is the most non-inflammatory implant, and it's very sturdy. They're now proving that it's more strong and sturdy than the metal, and it's got no harmful things happening, and it allows for energy flow. Can you imagine? Because if you have all these other bacteria and metal implants, you don't have meridian flow. So you're just totally blocked. And your teeth are actually connected to some of your organs. So if you have cavitations, bacteria, and mold, they're bleeding into your blood flow and your lymphatics.
I believe it. So I just started going to this place, Smile House downtown.
They just opened.
Yes.
Yeah, I see them online. Yeah.
And
how are they? They're
great.
Good? They're
They're
real
great,
deal?
and they do a really extensive kind of over like a mouth mapping, they call it. And,
Cone beam scan.
yeah,
Yeah.
but they do a jaw, a nasal passage, and they're taking out some of the metal fillings that I have in the back from when I was a kid.
Mercury.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, get that out. Let's redo everything. But there's another great company out of California. Have you heard of? I think it's called Pheno. So it's a little device that you hook up this like mouth guard to, and you stick it in your mouth, and it brushes all your teeth. And it's got all the little,
I think so.
the
Yeah,
bristles on it.
yeah.
It's the absolute coolest tool
Interesting.
I've ever seen.
Wow.
I'm in love with this thing.
Yeah.
They gave it to me. I got it Friday or Saturday. I've used it every day. I brush my teeth now more than I've ever brushed my teeth before.
You're enjoying it.
Because I enjoy
Yeah,
it. They've
yeah.
like reshaped the way I look at brushing my
Wow.
teeth. It's faster. It's easier. It just feels better. It
Wow.
has this like foam toothpaste that you put
Yeah,
around
yeah,
there.
yeah.
It's a
It's
really cool.
convenient.
It's definitely a cool product. You guys
I
should
like
check it
that,
out.
yeah.
But they're doing all this research on the importance of like your mouth health.
There's no
Everything is-
biohacking you could do, and if you don't fix the metals,
Yeah.
that's it. That's the stopgap.
Literally everything starts and ends in the mouth.
Yeah.
Like my father had diagnosis for a heart condition, and he was being pushed to get a heart surgery. And the danger was that he's approaching his 70s, and by the time he's like 76 with this condition, he's at risk of a heart attack. Turned out he had 17 complications. He had so much pus under his teeth, cavitations. It was intense. We went to Connecticut to Dr. Yuri May. He's one of the best at cleaning your jawbone. He cleansed everything, like OCD, and he was like laughing the whole time. He's like a Picasso. Same thing with Dr. Jay Gundy that we were here for my mother's surgery. These guys.
And my mom too.
And so Gladys also was with Dr. Jay Gundy. I'm telling you, the stuff that came out of their mouths, I can't wait to do the post-testing and really see what happened.
Well, this documentary is global. We went to Germany to
Yeah.
get her stuff done.
Dr. Dom Nishwitz.
Yeah,
do you know him?
he was a speaker.
He's famous.
Yeah,
He's
very
a speaker at Eudaimonia, actually.
Okay.
The only biological dentist at Eudaimonia.
He
Yeah.
actually did my surgery. I didn't have a condition, but guess what? I had 4 cavitations in the place of the wisdom teeth, mold. There was mold in my mouth 24/7. And I had 1 root canal. That was the tooth number 19 that's connected to my intestines. And I always had just digestive issues and leaky gut. So after we did my surgery, my skin got real life photoshopping. And I was like, I didn't know you were an esthetician.
Well, I think there's a lot of people who don't realize how the body does keep the score, and and how it's all connected. Just like I was saying before, I had acupuncture the other day. They pinned the inside of my ear, and they were like, "We're gonna tap into the vagal nerve through your ear." I woke up. I was like, I feel like $1 million. This is the best I've felt in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So I tell people all the time, do not rush to doctors and look for surgeries. Obviously, yes, there's a lot of great doctors out there. I'm not
You need it.
bashing Western medicine, but there are definitely ways around this stuff, and going to events like Eudaimonia and things like that, and reading your magazine and seeing what you guys are doing there, you can learn a lot from that. I think people are we're at the birth of a lot of this stuff.
Yes.
We're at the forefront
Yes.
of learning about a lot of this stuff, where it's 20 years from now, 30 years from now, it's going to be common sense. It's like, you didn't know you
Yeah.
could just get your mouth clean. You
Yeah.
know? So I think it's really impressive. I'm
you.
excited
Yeah.
to see what you guys are doing with this.
Yeah.
Guys, if you haven't seen this, Biohack Yourself. I love the concept of the magazine. I love that you're bringing this back.
Well, it's tech-free wellness. EMF, Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And then also because of all the shadow banding, this is not something that can be taken down. It's print. It's intentional. It's forever. So it's a love
Collector's
language.
item.
Yeah.
It's a collector's item. It's really to start the conversation.
So people could go on your site. They could watch
They
all
go on
the
the site. They
documentaries,
watch the document.
order-
Once you're in our
You can go to
algorithm.
Amazon Prime to watch all of our documentaries.
yeah.
Once
Amazon
you search Biohack Yourself,
Yeah.
all the rest of our content
We're on
comes
Hulu,
as
we're on
suggested.
Tubi, we're on Plex, we're on
Hoopla.
Hoopla, Apple. It's on all the major streaming platforms. We're in like 11 different ways you could discover, because nobody can you have to biohack yourself. Nobody can do it for you.
Yes.
That's the main objective. That's the perfect title. TereZa came up. She's like, are we biohacking ourselves? Is that what we're doing? And she said, no, you got to biohack yourself.
And then one time he walked into the room and I was like, just go biohack yourself. We were just talking. And that became the slogan. So
Yeah.
now every time somebody finishes their interview,
Yeah.
we say, hey, go biohack yourself.
Yeah.
It makes sense because there's so many different remedies and so many different things that could go wrong.
Yeah.
And everybody's like looking for this one magic pill or one thing that works for everybody, but it's not. You have to work on yourself. And I
Individualized.
think this is another thing that I believe, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not, but if you're worried about taking care of yourself and you think about how long it takes you to understand and learn and listen to all these people, well, then you're not worried about what the lady down the block's doing or the guy at your job.
Correct.
You're worried about yourself, which makes you more focused on what you're doing. You can't pay attention to two things at the same time. So if you're focused on what you're doing, you're not worried about somebody else, and you're improving your life. So there's less animosity, less hate and stuff. But you guys have done such a good job with this. Obviously, you got Gary Brecka, you got Gabrielle Lyons, you got the best of the best.
Larry
Yeah.
All these
Got
people on
Brian
there.
Johnson coming.
Yeah.
But I didn't know who you guys were until I saw this lovely young lady over here
Oh, love.
doing all these interviews
Yeah,
at the health wellness oasis.
Yes.
Very impressive. I love
you.
like that's the coolest part. I think what you guys have done is
Yeah.
so impressive. I love what you're doing. I'd
you.
love to be a part of everything and anything you guys have going on.
Thank you.
But I think the most impressive thing is what you guys have done with your kids.
Thank you.
I think you guys are setting the standard for how people should raise their kids. If anybody does do a book on it, I think you guys should.
He kept calling me Mother TereZa.
Yeah.
He's like, you got to do a book, Mother TereZa.
Yeah, but I think this is all great stuff. I love it. I look to see what you guys have coming up in the future, because I think this is the future of health and wellness. It's the future of fitness. It's the future of everything.
Yes.
I think when people can understand how to make their lives a little bit better, then it makes a whole lot more sense.
Yes.
But where can everybody find you? How can we?
Biohack Yourself. I mean, biohackyourself.com, Biohack Yourself Media on Instagram. Obviously, my personal name, Anthony Lolli, Lolli, TereZa Lolli, TereZa, Instagram. We're big on social.
Yeah.
We want to be where everybody's at. We want to meet people where they're at. So if it's print, if it's a
You guys
website.
on YouTube as well.
We're on YouTube.
Yeah.
We're on everything, and we're in the streets. We have 30 journalists. You met Claudia.
Yeah.
You've seen our kids. And
I-
all
yeah.
different demographics. We got you. I FaceTimed Jeremy. He used to be 350 pounds. Now he's a bodybuilder. Now he's a journalist with us. He's at events. So we have it's kind of like the WWE of journalism. It's like not one character. Everybody's their own person, and everyone has their own transformation story. Like Claudia's brother had cancer, and that's really why she got into this whole industry. So every single one of our journalists has a pain to purpose story, and they are still healing themselves.
What's your guys' presence here in New York? Do you have a?
We have
a journalist, Samantha.
Yeah.
We're starting to anchor ourselves because of people like yourself.
Yeah.
There's definitely a big movement happening in New York, and
Yeah.
we're here to cover that. There's a lot of new wellness clinics that are opening up, just like Extension Health. So we're doing a clinic spotlight on them.
Dr. Cole's the
BBC just
best.
invited to do a story on us.
Oh, wow.
About being the first biohacking family that's doing it with the young kids.
I think what you guys are doing is a little bit more user-friendly than the Brian Johnson stuff.
Yeah.
No, I like Brian Johnson. I like what he's done. Do I think he's the end-all be-all? No, but I think he's one of the first people through the door talking about it, using himself as a guinea pig to try all this wacky shit.
And he's deloading, by the way. We spent the whole day, because he's on the cover of our next magazine.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the dude's like, here's my room. He walked us into his thing. He's like, it's like a quarter of what it was. He says, I tried everything. I'm deloading now. He's like, I figured it out. Less is more. And he's like, but I had to try it.
Mm-hmm.
But what he's done has worked because he has this thing called Longevity Olympics, the Dunedin Pace Olympics. He is obviously top one in his own Olympics, and it takes you 2 years to test your biological age, your aging pace, like all your matrix. He's aging 0.48% per every year that he's aging. I'm actually top 96 in his Olympics.
Oh, wow.
I'm aging 78% per every year. So I was like,
incredible.
Brian, I'm coming after you. Like, I want to get that top 2 spot.
He considers himself to be a longevity athlete. So he's like a pro. You understand? It's like, you know, we're
pro.
right.
Like
Like some
Arnold.
people lift weights and work out. He wants to like
Yeah.
win the Olympia.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys don't mind me asking, how old are you guys?
48.
38 and a half.
Okay. Wow. Oh, yeah. You get, I mean, you guys look. Yeah. I mean, you look younger. 30,
so-
I would have said 32, 33.
Yeah, like biological, mine is 29.
Okay.
And yeah, like, so we're working on aesthetics and all that stuff. We're doing microneedling. So we're doing salmon semen,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
exosomes,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, all of that. It's working.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, you're hooked up with the best people here in New York. I mean, Dr.
Yeah.
Quo's my guy. I love him.
Yeah, he's fun.
I did the EBU with him.
He's actually doing
I did-
EBU on both of our moms as we're here.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
I
he's
love
he's
it.
After
awesome.
having such intense biological dental surgeries 2 days ago, they went to him to detox the anesthesia out of their body and also the dead cells.
He did Ebo on me too.
Yes, but what I'm saying is so important when you go through a medical procedure and you're taking painkillers or even like a dental procedure, go to Extension Health and get your EBU, cleanse your blood, ozonate your blood.
Who are 3 people that, you know, we know a lot of the big names, right?
Yes.
Gary Brecka's, Gabrielle Lyons. Who are 3 people you guys who are coming up the ranks that you think people should look for? Who are doing some really cool stuff?
You know what's interesting, right? What we took with this magazine, it's not just Gabrielle, but in the magazine we have contributors. So typically in a magazine you have like an A-list star on the cover, and then maybe like another A-list or a B-lister in another story, and then you have the company writing. You know, we have like the best, like the contributors are Dr. Mark Gordon, who's in this, Dr. Darshan Shah,
Dr. Ellen Langer.
Ellen
from
Langer, Harvard. Like the people that we hand select, it's invite only. To be a contributor in a magazine, you have to be like top of your field. Like some of our contributors could be on the cover. That's how big they are.
Dr. Gennady too.
Yeah.
Like he teaches biological dentistry in Tufts University. He's one of the most renowned, so he's a contributor in our next edition. We have Dr. Jerry Curutola, Dr. Jay Gundy. Like all the biological dentists are also contributing to us. All the biohacking vets are also contributing to us because you can actually biohack your pets. You can put them in
I've been
hyperbaric
noticing,
oxygen,
yeah.
put them on
You ever seen,
TRT.
like all of our biohacking buddies, their dogs are like this. They're on peptides. They're like
great.
25 years old. It's like what?
exosomes and stem cells.
Well, I'll tell you what, because I don't think it just stops at exercise, sleep, and nutrition.
Yeah.
Because my dog is 7 years old, 8 years old,
Yeah.
and she went blind in one eye.
Yeah.
You know, we have her on all types of medication because she had anxiety and bad skin and all this
She
stuff.
needs an emotional support animal.
Yeah. You know, the funny part was, one of the funniest things that's happened in the last 2 months, I was walking her outside. She's blind in one eye and like losing sight in the other. And she walked into this sign. And this woman hangs her head out the window. She's like, hey, why don't you get the dog a walking stick? I go, yeah. What hand do you want her to hold her with? A walking? She's like, well, it's rude that you're letting her walk like that. I go, what do you want me to do? Carry her around
so
all the
funny.
time?
Can I tell you though, like we're in New York just for a month here, filming and everything. Wow, people are tense sometimes in this city.
Yeah.
Is it because of the hustle? Like I forgot that this used to be the norm.
It's not
But
that-
experiencing Florida and how like people just let you go.
Everybody's
Like,
just,
they're
yeah,
just
chill.
honking at you. They're angry at
That's
you.
the gun laws over there in Florida too. You know what I mean? That's the difference. You
It's
know?
a combination of things. New York's always had this like gritty feel to it, but I think now more than ever before, it's like
Disconnect, divide. Yeah.
There's just like there's no regard for human life anymore.
Yeah.
And you're seeing it in some of the bigger cities, but that's why everybody's migrating to Florida. There's just a better way of life. And when you talk about biohacking, I feel like Austin, Florida, those are like the 2 places where everybody's gravitating towards to live a better, healthier life.
Even Vegas is coming up these days.
Yeah.
Vegas, California,
Yeah.
there's a ton popping up there. Next Health is opening up locations left and right.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. To answer to your question, I wanted to say who's coming up.
Yeah.
To us, like most impressive interview was Andrew Tate. And he's
Wow.
known as like a controversial figure, whatever that he's known for, but he was never known for his health hacks and how he feeds himself and how he just drinks water. Like the guy never drinks alcohol. He eats super clean. He fasts almost all day. He eats one dinner, which is just super healthy, organic meat and vegetables. And his gut is probably the cleanest, which is why we were just looking at him, and he's on the cover of our next issue. And we call the issue like checkmate, right? Like checkmating systems and checkmating everything. Why? Because he has such emotional intelligence, such like health.
The
because of
gut-brain
his gut.
connection is real.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's
And
your
so
second
I
brain.
think he was super shockingly impressive for us as biohackers. And he's like, I don't even know what biohacking is.
Yeah.
So, oh, so I am a biohacker? Because he doesn't even do the gadgets. He doesn't even do peptides or any of that. Literally,
But although
food,
after the fight,
nutrition, working out.
I think he's going to consider it, after
yeah.
that fight. But the fact that he hung out there with a guy who's 26,
Yeah.
who was
But I think
technically
he's
the world
coming
champion.
up because he already understands food, nutrition, mental strength, working out, and all of that, and chess and focus and all that. But I think he's now starting to really like the biohacking world after also meeting us and interviewing. So I think looking out for him and what he's going to do in this field.
He's really curious too. Like when we did the interview, we were with him for like 8 hours. He came down, met us down at the lobby, and we were the first people in his apartment, moving day. And he greeted the kids.
Where does he live? Dubai?
In Dubai. And he gave us the whole full tour. We took a picture with him, and he hung it up in his living room. And then he
did a
started
push-up challenge with our son.
Legend. Yeah, he started doing. But
Yeah, I gotta challenge him.
He
Yeah,
took.
yeah.
Yeah. You please do. Legend, get ready, Leg.
Get your arms ready.
Get you
Warm
ready.
up, young man.
Come on, warm up. Let's go.
Yeah, put
Now,
them
come.
down. Let's get ready.
So he ended up. We gave him all the magazines. And he's in his promo. He put the Biohack Yourself magazines in his table. He started posting it.
Oh, nice.
So he's
Very
like,
cool.
Interested.
and
He
he's
loves to
texting us.
read
Yeah.
and-
How'd you guys get in touch with him?
At this point, we know a lot of people. We're one phone call away, and a lot of it's all relationships
Yeah,
at
of
this
course.
level, and we're very like bipartisan, very neutral, and so.
I mean, we're also one call away from like Mohammed bin Salman,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Prince of Saudi, right?
Oh,
like,
great.
Yeah, like he may be in one of our next movies, the
Yeah.
feature film
Very
that
cool.
we're
I bet you those
producing.
guys spend a ton of money on the biohacking.
Well,
stuff.
they're
yeah.
actually, you know what's interesting?
So into it.
We met with so many heads of state in Saudi. We produced an event called the Xenos Health Conference, one of the products that are in the magazine.
Saudi.
In Saudi. It was the biggest, it was like the eudaimonia of Saudi. And
Very boutique,
they were
very upper echelon, very much like the who's who came there to challenge.
It's like $5-10 a ticket, and you got to fly there. And it was like really like top of the, like you're there, we're hanging out. Brecca's there, Dr. Mark Gordon is there, Dr. Mark Hyman rather is there, and you're there
on the right was
on the right. Everybody's there.
Maz, actually, who's the owner of Xenos Conference and Xenos the supplements, he did an incredible job, just like up leveling what the conference should be, especially when it's abroad. And he said, I want to build this middle, like the Saudi, he calls this the baby or the golden child of the Middle East. And he says everybody is suffering with so much health issues, and his heart is there to help. So like flying all the speakers out there, flying all the exhibitors out there, and just creating such an amazing family vibe gave us a whole understanding and respect what a conference should be.
Yeah, it's great. It's amazing, and that world is really trying to buy and purchase the best minds from the United States. They're like, whatever you want, I want you to open up your clinic here, and I'll pay for everything.
Wow.
They're sparing no expense.
Their main TV channel, MBS, we had a meeting with MBS. They're like, we want to give you an entire channel, like the Weather Channel, just talk health all day.
Like they would take your
great.
concept but they would want you. Like there was like 10 of these, right?
Yeah.
Immediately. As long as you're game to live there and all that stuff, they spare no expense. Like
yeah.
they just paid Tom Brady $30 million to do a football game for a day.
And we went to their film festival, the Saudi Film Festival. The entire thing was lit. Like when you say, it was like upscale. We went and met the film commissioners, and they're like, we want to welcome American productions, give you guys tax incentives, come film your next movie here.
Well, I feel like Hollywood's kind of lost their edge a little bit. I mean, I think they're suffering now. They're moving. I mean, all these companies are now moving. Netflix is moving out to New Jersey, which is
Vegas is
crazy.
becoming another hub.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zachary Levi, who you also remind me of a little bit, that he's a professional actor.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He looks a little bit like
Zachary
do you know
Levi?
Zachary
He's
Levi?
the
Spy
Shazam.
Kids and
Oh,
Shazam.
yeah. I've actually
like
met
that
him.
guy.
Yeah,
I've met him
yeah.
before, yes.
Purple Crayon. We
met
actually
him at the Maha Bowl, became
Yeah.
really good friends. He's
Yeah.
actually going to be in our next documentary called The New Woo.
That's a
Okay.
new one now.
But
So,
that's
'cause
the next level,
next
right?
level,
We're talking about
like-
energy healing, quantum, the scientific proof
psilocybin
behind
and
that, mushrooms,
I actually love
psychedelics.
mushrooms.
psychedelics. That's what this is
We
about. We
never
should
done
talk.
that. We're researching.
Oh, really?
that.
I did the hape and the cambo.
Yeah.
I did that. The frog
I
poisoning.
actually microdosed some mushrooms this morning.
Oh wow.
Well, I had a gentleman who, you should definitely check out Paul Austin.
Okay.
He spoke at my event this year.
Nice.
He's one of the lead guys on psychedelics and teaching people how to microdose and
Well,
things
we
like
should
that.
definitely,
Yeah,
please.
I'll
We're
put you in touch
researching
with him.
now.
So-
we have Sadhguru, we have Wim
Sadhguru.
Hof,
Sadhguru is
confirmed
great, yeah.
already.
Yeah.
And what we're understanding is the new woo, which is the quantum stuff, is going to be tomorrow's.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
we're saying woo before was red light, PMF,
Yeah.
stem cell. Now that's like mainstream. The new woo is this next level, like you said, microdosing.
I agree. I think like microdosing. I think it's always been so taboo, and the dose at which people were doing it. It's like it's putting you in this psychedelic state. But when you microdose it, it just puts you in a. I just feel better.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in a better mood. It levels me out. I think it's so important for people to
We
try
need to
it.
take coaching from you.
Yeah, I love
We
it.
have no
Oh, I
idea.
don't know. I'm learning.
You're
I'm
learning too.
still learning too. I wish I knew more.
Ledge, where are you? Come here. You keep walking off set. Ledge, come here. Push up
Most
time.
amount of screen they've watched, by the
Yeah.
way. Only because we don't want them to.
All right. So Legend, how old are you?
7.
You're 7 years old. Come in here. Say hi to everybody in there. 7 years old. He looks jacked already.
Oh, you want to take here? Let's
All right.
take this off. Let's show the guns.
So rumor has it you could do 50
There
push-ups.
comes the supportive gang, the cheerleading squad.
So you could do 50 push-ups?
Yep.
All right, well, let's see it. Okay? And then I'm going to try to beat your number. I don't think I can, though.
And 1.
Look at this
2,
guy. Those are good
3,
push-ups.
4, 5.
Those are
6,
legit.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
17, 18, 19,
Head
20,
up,
21,
head up.
22, 23,
24.
24.
Look at this guy
25,
go.
26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40.
Come on, last 10. Come on.
42,
43, 44, 45, 46.
He hasn't eaten any breakfast, by the way, or
48,
lunch.
49, 50.
Keep going, Ledge. You got more in you?
This
Come on,
is
you got a
like
couple more?
fasted,
51,
fasted
52,
push-ups.
53,
All the way down.
54,
You're bending the shape, baby.
55,
Come on.
Efficacy, high efficacy.
56.
Posture.
57.
Break it, break it. 3 more, 3 more. 8. Literally 9 and 60.
60.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
job.
Give it up for this guy. A man after my own heart. What a
Great
legend.
job,
The
son.
legend
Great
now.
job, son.
Let's do the.
Show him the flex. Show him the
Give
flex.
us the Arnold.
That is so
Give us the-
impressive. Charlie actually teaches some kids classes over at
way.
my gym in Jersey.
Nice, man.
And this is,
cool.
and everybody's like, well, when could I get them started? I go immediately.
Immediately.
Get them started
Yeah.
immediately. Get them doing push-ups and pull-ups, and those are things they're just going to naturally do on their own.
Yeah.
It was such an honor to have you guys here. Thank you so much. We're just I want to do a quick little video with you guys at the
Yes.
end. We'll just rank some
Absolutely.
some of the most important biohacks that
Yeah,
people should be
yeah,
doing.
yeah,
But
yeah.
thank you guys so much for coming, guys. As always, like, share, subscribe. Check out Biohack Yourself on YouTube, on Amazon. Grab the
Instagram,
magazine.
yeah.
Instagram. You guys are changing the way people are looking at biohacking,
you so
and
much.
changing the way people are going to start to raise their kids. So, thank you guys so much for coming.
Appreciate it.